Edo, welcome to a very special edition of No Choftes. I'm Stel. I've got Mr. Chris here. His chair is working fine. You lot didn't see it, but he almost fell off his chair, almost damn near broke the chair. We don't have to call the ambulance. It'll be more entertaining seeing someone giving him CPR. I don't know. But anyway, we've got a special guest. But before I introduce our special guest, who you can see down at the bottom, Bet On Alfa is our sponsor. Don't forget to go on betonalfa.com.cy, the best betting company in Cyprus, bar none, hands down. That's all I need to say. But it's all about our special guest. And the gentleman down here, let's just say he played for the Ops, but he's a good friend of ours. Gustavo, welcome to the podcast. Fila, how you doing?
Thank you. My pleasure. I'm Gustavo Manduca also. I introduce myself now.
Gustavo Manduca. There you go. I thought I'd wait for you to say it, you know. Well, thank you for joining us. How is life in Italy?
I think there is a lot of young people that perhaps they don't know me, huh? So we have to introduce.
Let me tell you something. The moment this goes, the moment we finish, it's going to go all over the website. Some people are going to say, "Oh my God, how did they get Manduca? Manduca it never does interviews."
Well,
you know, we're just a little bit different here. We do things very different. But first of all, Gustavo, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. I know, you know, you played for the rival club, and it might upset a lot of Omonoia fans, but as we said on numerous occasions, we had Andrea Orlandi on the pod. We've had APOEL'S fans on this podcast, and we do things very, very different. While the rivalry is there, we still have that respect for supporters and former players who believe the feeling is mutual. So we do things different, and we appreciate you coming on the pod. We appreciate your time. So yeah, how is life in Italy? Because you're in Torino, right?
Yes, I'm living in Torino for 3.5 years. And it's really good, you know. I feel home. Just a second, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Vai ter uma reunião importante. My son just came in, man. The small one.
That's okay. No problem at all. Here we go. We've already got some messages here. Gustavo, good player. See, an Omonoia fan gives you that respect. There you go.
Sorry, my son just come in here. So no, I was saying that I have like Italian descendants. You know, I came from city in Brazil, from south of Brazil, where they are like 100% Italians.
Yes. Urusagra, is that right?
Urusaga, yeah. And so when I came to Italy, I feel home because we have very similar culture and with our grandparents in Brazil. You know, the food, the way to talk, you know. So of course we speak Portuguese in Brazil. The Italian is not a so difficult language for us to learn, and yeah, here it's a great country. So as you know, everybody knows Italy have everything also, you know, good life, good food, nice weather. Also have mountains in winter to ski, nice beaches in summer time. So it's very completely country. So yeah, we're very happy here.
Yeah, because you mentioned the place where you grew up in Brazil, and I've seen photographs of the buildings, and they are very, very 18th century design, aren't they? You know, they're built in like the 16th century, but they're very Italian in the way that they look. I was like, is this Brazil or Italy?
Yeah, sound of Brazil, yeah. There's a lot. Actually, Germans and Italians. There is cities you go, you feel like in Germany. There are cities you go, you feel like in Italy also. So yeah. Brazil is multi-country country, you know.
That's right. I've got a friend who lives in Florianopolis.
My city. Where I live. City, yeah? It's not my city where I was born, but it's where I live.
Very nice. Yeah, I used to work with him, and then he went to go live back in Florianopolis. But he always says to me, "Come to visit me." I says, "Okay, no problem. You tell me where to come, and I'll come."
Very nice.
Excellent. So your first professional club was Gremio, is that right?
Actually, yes, not professional contract, but professional team where I was make my school, let's say football school, so the academies from Gremio. I made 3 years there. I have the pleasure to do with Ronaldinho Gaúcho, with Anderson Polga, Sandberg. We have at that time very strong, very good team. We was Brazilian champions under 16. It's not easy, Brazil is a very big country and a lot of good academies. And I was there for 3 years.
What was it like playing with Dino then? What was it like?
He's phenomenal. No words to say. I think we don't need to introduce himself.
Was he always partying as well, even when he was young?
Yeah, he liked more than me at that time. But okay, and he was from Porto Alegre. I was from abroad. The beginning, okay, I get some time to make friendship with Dan. But then after, okay, even we play against when I was in BENFICA 2005, I met him in Barcelona in quarterfinal Champions League. That time I couldn't play because I was not in the list because I arrived in BENFICA in January. And but yeah, we remember the time we was together. He was always very kind and very friendly.
I remember we had Weisheimer, a former Omonoia striker, who I think may have left the club Gremio before you did, if I'm not mistaken. Weisheimer.
No, I don't remember.
No? Yeah, so I think he left Gremio maybe I think before you, if I'm not mistaken, and he knew Ronaldinho as well. So yeah, we spoke about him at great length. So you ended up at Helsinki, of all clubs in Finland, from Gremio. Now, I know how the football world works. And when you see certain nationalities at a club, you're thinking maybe there's an agent involved with the president or there's a few little links here and there. There were a few other Brazilian players at the club at the time, but I seem to remember you had Rihilatsi there, you had Mikael Forsell, and obviously our friend, Shefki.
Yeah.
So what was it like? I mean, how did that deal come about? You going from Brazil to Helsinki? That's an interesting transfer.
It was a big adventure for me. I was 17 years old boy at the moment I left Gremio, and I was, okay, to short the history, I was without club. I have one team that was looking for me to make like the juniores in Brazil, and come up this opportunity to go, to make tests there and to make my first professional contract if it happens. And I decided with my family to do this challenge, to go there, and even don't know nothing about the country, how it was a football, because at that time it was different. It was 1998, so today it's easier. You have the internet. You make a click and you are everywhere. You don't know everything. That time was not like that. Even internet didn't have that time. No phones like today. So it was a big challenge, but it was important for me. I was out my house from 13 years old when I went to Gremio. And then, I was a little bit courageous, to do these steps. And thanks God, it was good. At the beginning, when I arrived there, I was very scared because, Brazil, I left Brazil with 30 degrees and I arrived there minus 20. So it was like, I never, until that time, I never saw snow. And I arrived there when the plane landed, it was completely white, the account. I said, my good, where I come? And, okay, I was just young, 17 years old, full of dreams in my mind, in targets, with my goals. And I say, let's do it. I just go there, play football. They take me, they sign my contract. I met that team of Helsinki that it was the strongest from history. Was the only time Finnish club they went to Champions League group stage, and I participated that time. I didn't play games, but I was in the group, in the bench, many games. I met there, as you said, Rihilahti, Mikael Forsell. He was like my age, 1 year younger, so we was always all the time together. Chefki and many others, good guys. That it was great experience as a football player, yes, but above all as a man, as a person. I learned a lot, and let's say these difficulties that I passed there, not speaking the language, or the food completely different, the weather, all that, make me ready for next steps.
I remember messaging Shefty the other week about you, and I said, "Have you got any stories about Gustavo?" And he goes, "No, not really. But I remember when he joined, he didn't really speak much English, so all he was saying is yes or no, yes or no." So we didn't know whether yes meant yes or no meant no.
And my luck, it was that it was another Brazilian guy there, another two, and they was there for 6 years. They speak Finnish, and they helped me a lot to translating to me. At that time, today with the phone, you can go, you translate immediately. I was with the dictionary with me every day. I arrive home, I take a paper, and I write some words and some needs that I have, and I go supermarket, I go restaurant, I go everywhere with that paper, to speak and to communicate with people. It was really hard, and especially also to have relationship with the other players. But because I was very young, all the time they take like the mascot of the team, like the young boy. So they was always very kind to me.
Yeah, excellent, brilliant. So after Helsinki, you ended up at a few clubs in Portugal, and if I remember correctly, or if my research is correct, you played with a very young Pedro Mendes, who I think won the Champions League with Mourinho, wasn't that right? With Porto, and you also at Maritimo, you played with Silas, who was recently sacked at APOEL'S. But yeah, so that was, it must have been an interesting journey for you, because obviously going from Helsinki to Portugal, the language, the culture is very similar, I'm assuming, but you played for a few clubs there as well. Was that easy to make that transition from going from club to club?
Yeah, it was fantastic. To go from Finland to Portugal, it was very easy, And it happens because in our group stage, it was BENFICA. I did many interviews because I was young, even not playing too much, and people know me. One strong agent in Portugal invited me to go, and I discussed with the team. They let me go with Helsinki, and he took me to Felgueiras. Felgueiras, it was second division club, very promising club with a lot of young players, talented young players. And from that team, you can say, as you said before, Pedro Mendes, Fernando Meira, Rui Patacas, it was Paulo Sergio, many players that after they make good careers in Portugal and around the world, players that they play very high level, national team of Portugal. So it was nice there, much easier for me, and I found many young players like me also. And one very experienced and important coach that was Diamantino Miranda, an ex-player from BENFICA that have a lot of, it was nice experience to work with him also in a different environment of football, because football in Portugal is like, in Brazil, like England, everywhere they live this, they have this football culture. So it was much easier, general for me, a part of the language, the weather, the food and all that. But it was much better experience, much easier.
Yeah, and then you ended up signing for BENFICA. Now, again, if memory serves me correctly, was it KOEMAN or Fernando Santos that was in charge at the time?
I work with both, but who bring me there? It was for Ronald Koeman.
Yeah, my friend was assistant with KOEMAN at Southampton and then Everton. He's now the head coach of the Celtic ladies team. And he has a lot of good things to say about KOEMAN. But back then, KOEMAN was fairly new as a coach, wasn't he? He wasn't coaching for years before that. It was still a fairly new environment for him. I remember he had a great career at Barcelona. He scored the goal in the European Cup final in '92 at Wembley. What was he like coaching? Because I know Dutch coaches can be a little bit fiery. Is that the word you could use? You know?
No. Actually, he was very basic, let's say. You know, he make easy things. The way of his managing the team. You know, Benfica also important club. Many top players from all national teams around the world. And you know, he surprised me because I was expecting to find something different. Wow, and it was not. It was very simple in his way of training to do. He remembered a lot in the way of he prepared the trainings Ivanovic that I work in APOEL. That almost every training every day. You know, every day of the week he have his plan and his training. He didn't change much. And then the way of managing and talk with the players to be there, you know, he was football player. He understand what the players was needing. If somebody was in a bad moment, in a good moment, the way to guide in the team, you know, was very friendly, very humble. Nothing, you know, not a star. Let's say that we couldn't. If you lock his door, he opened the door to talk normally with everyone. So it was very great experience for me to work with him, of course.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, this is a guy that, as I said, he played for Barcelona. He played for Ajax. He was, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, his first two jobs, he was the assistant of the Dutch national team. Then it was Barcelona as an assistant, which may have been with Van Gaal, if I'm not mistaken. And after that, it was at Vitesse and Ajax. And then he went to Benfica. So he had a good career as a player and a decent start as coach.
Yeah, in Benfica, I arrived in Benfica in the middle of the season, and the team was not doing fantastic. It was doing normally in the league. It was the second. You know, Benfica always play for the first place, and but he did very well in Champions League. You know, he arrives with the team quarterfinals. We lost to Barcelona. That Barcelona from Ronaldinho.
Yep.
And it was, yeah, we beat 8th final Liverpool, and it was okay. It was not a fantastic season, but he did good job. And in the end, they decided to change the code and they bring back Fernando Santos to Portugal, you know, after Athens.
Yep, that's right. Fernando Santos came in.
And it made it a little bit more difficult for me because, you know, I arrived in Benfica January. I tell you, in 6 months, I play, if I'm not wrong, 14 games as first 11, and I come in once, and only one game I did play for in the league. I was not in the list for the Champions League, that's why I didn't play. And I did quite good, you know, for change from Marítimo to Benfica, big club, in the middle of the season, all that. Not easy to arrive there and play all the games with players, you know, world-class players, you know, Simon Sabrova, Nuno Gomes, Karagunis, Micoli, Giovanni, a lot of players in front, you know, with a lot of quality. And I managed to play, but our system, he played 4-2-3-1, and KOEMAN used to play. Simon Sabrosa left side, Micoli right side, and Giovanni, they fight for the position. In front, Nuno Gomes, I used to fight with Karagunis for the number 10, you know. And I play all the games. But then when comes Fernando Santos, we go to pre-season in Switzerland, in Basilea, and Fernando came to me. He said, Manduca, we are bringing back Rui Costa after so many years. Now he's out. He's one of our big legends here, as you know, in Benfica after Eusebio, all that. He come here. I know last year you play a lot, but this year you not have a lot of opportunities to play. So it's up to you. What you think? I tell you something. The president of AEK, I just come from AEK Athens, a great team. They have, you know, they play Champions League probably this year, and very nice city, history, fans, all that. They asked me for you because they are looking for somebody to loan, and they asked me about you. Of course, I speak very good. If you prefer to go there and to play this year, he will not play for sure too much. So it's up to you what you think. And he said to me, they can pay you more than what they're paying here. You know, economically also you make better deal. If it's okay for you, I let you go. And I said, oh, I didn't think too much, I say yes, I want to go. So I learn about I search about a little bit Athens, how it was, and I decide to move.
So you go to Athens, and if I'm not mistaken, I think you spent, was it a year loan, and then you made your move permanent in 2007 when you made.
Yes,
when you signed
1 year long, another 3 years they bought me from BENFICA.
Yeah, and when the move was made permanent in 2007, wasn't that when Rivaldo joined?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So you were in Helsinki in 1998 when Rivaldo had a really good World Cup, and then you go to AEK, having played against a guy who had a really good World Cup in 2002.
Yeah.
So as a Brazilian, as the countryman, you played with phenomenal players before that, but Rivaldo is...
Rivaldo was different, of course,
Yeah.
Actually, we are very friends, we make good friendship that year until today. We go his home, come, we are in contact. And as a player, nothing to say, for sure is the best player who I play with, completely different. We could see when we play with these level players, they are higher, in everything. So especially inside the field, the way they approach the game and the trainees. And he was very professional, even with the age, he was 34, 35, I'm not sure. Yeah. And he was always one of the first when we make physical trainings, and he was always, an example as a professional for everyone. So it was big honor, of course, to work with him. But I tell you something, still, I was always very big dreamer, From beginning, I was like dreaming every day, with playing this level, high level, these games. I was watching Champions League. I remember I went when I was in Portugal, second division, Chaves after Felgueiras, and I went to see one game, Champions League game, Real Madrid, Porto, with our friends, another 3 French players, colleagues, with me, and I was doing say I will play here one day, I will score a goal here, I want to, and they was loving me, I said, you're crazy, you play here, second division, Portugal, how can you do, And I was always, my target was very high always, even very far from me at that time. But in the end, it happened. So I'm very proud about that.
Well, look, all you need to do is just look at your journey in terms of the clubs that you played for and then the players that you've played with. I mean, not just, you think about the players that you played against as well. Now, there are so many players around the world who would love to be in the position that you were in, Yeah. Okay, you may not have scored a goal in a World Cup final, but I tell you what you've done in your career, it's incredible. Yeah. I was doing my research. I'm thinking, where do I start with the questions? I don't know. I've got friends who are Olympiakos fans, Gate 7 International, asking me, what was it like when Rivaldo joined AEK from Olympiakos? I mean, that was a big move. But here's me thinking, this player played for Barcelona and AC Milan. Pressure is nothing for the guy.
Yes. Yes, football, the things happened in different ways, different for everyone. In my case, I have to say I'm very grateful, for the career I have and for what I achieved. And coming from a small city from Brazil, 25,000 people, and going out of my home, 13 years old, and finish here, in the end, I'm very grateful. And for sure, have the honor to play in these competitions with these players. It's, players that I used to see before and say, wow, these guys, they was amazing, And after a few months or years, we are there sharing the dressing room with these guys. So it's very nice.
So how would you describe your time at AEK? Because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it the cup final you guys lost to Olympiakos a 3-3 when Matt Derbyshire, our friend, scored 2 goals in that game? Sorry to bring it up, but what was that like in terms of, losing in a final against a huge rival who Olympiakos are?
Yeah, man, it was very hard. Actually, I played the first 11 this game, and it was by the coach. He put me out minute 70, at 65, 70, I'm not sure, second half. And then the game, you know, we score, I think, in the last minute, the 3-2, something like that. And the people come in, you know, the fans, they come into the field. It was part to say, come on, it's done now, it's finished. And then, you know, 1 minute after, the shy scored the goal. So no, this is not true, man. And then I think it goes to extra time, and they score first, and then after we score again, and they score, we score, and it was like a crazy game. It goes to the penalties, and never finish. Everybody score. Then somebody lost, and they say, no, now it's finished, and the other goal and lost. And then another score, one lost, another goal and lost. I think it was 1918, something like that.
Yeah,
no,
something like that. Yeah, it was crazy.
Like it was amazing, man. I say it was a moment I was in the bench. I say, come on, if we lose, we lose. If we win, we win.
Please, I want to go to bed.
You never finish the game. No? And then
you had a good time though. You had a good time in Athens, yeah.
Yeah, great time, and we have that experience also 2007 that we got the championship in the field. And suddenly something happened that they give points to Olympiakos for a game they lost against Kalamaria. I think Kalamaria, if you don't forget the name of the team, a team from Thessaloniki. One game they lost, and 1-0, and they used one player for 5 minutes in the end. And this player was not, he was something wrong with the documents. I don't know what it happened. And instead to take out the points from Kalamaria, they give the 3 points to Olympiakos. And we finished the league 1 point in front. In the end, they passed us 2 points and they got the league. So I think that was the biggest disappointment I have in my career. Not me, and for sure many other players. We was very, very upset with the situation. And it was a big fight there in the dressing room between us, and even with the president and the directors, because we feel like, you know, we was feeling very bad because at that time in I don't know, it's not sure it's like that even today in Greece, but the champions, they finish, they are champion, and from second to 60th place they play the playoffs. From being champions, we have to go next week to play the playoffs, you know.
Yeah. Nobody
wants to play. It was very, very, very difficult situation at the time we lived there. Very big disappointment we have.
Yeah. Well, obviously that happens in Cyprus as well. When you got your move to APOEL in 2010, and that was the Jovanovic era, the very famous Jovanovic era, which we don't really like to discuss. But in all fairness, you know, we're gonna talk about this because we're old enough and we're
yeah, sure.
You know? So, Chris, do you wanna start asking some questions first, or shall I just get my ones in and then you can go? It's up to you, mate. Up to you.
Bro, you've been speaking for about 30 minutes. If you want to go on a little bit more, I'll let you go.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, the first thing I want to, in fact, okay, let me ask this one first, and then we can get onto your ones. Okay, sorry. Well, actually, before we do that, Dogari Mesa, APOEL podcast, yeah, they say hello, Gustavo, and they're waiting for Gustavo Jr. to play for them. So maybe your boy one day will play for APOEL. You never know. But yeah, so 2010, you joined the club, and if I'm not mistaken, you know, that was when you scored 10 goals in your first season. You joined when Triskovski was there, Ayrton, Solari, a lot of Portuguese, Brazilian players there who, again, very similar to Helsinki. Was that easy for you to make that adaptation from AEK to APOEL?
Yes, before I answer your question, let me tell you a secret that maybe nobody knows. And you will be the first one because you are a Omonoia fan.
Yes.
You know that I was near to be in Omonoia also before.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Excuse my language, man. Fucking hell. What a player we could have signed.
It was 3 teams from Cyprus, Omonoia, Nortus, and APOEL. Nortus go easier out because of the financial issues. And Omonoia it was there, but Lemonese was not so, for what I hear, what they told me, he was not so convinced. And in the end, APOEL make a biggest effort, with Ivanovic, with Theodor Kyriakidis that, called me and convinced me to go. But it was there also, the possibility.
So you're saying it was Lemonese that made that decision not to bring you in?
This is what it was. What comes through my agent that time, and like that. But okay. It was just, it was these two possibilities. In the end, also by myself, for the effort that APOEL did and the way they approach, it was more convincing to me to go to APOEL at that time. But Omonoia, they was not so hot like I was expecting to do and to happen.
Gustavo, how old were you when you joined APOEL?
30 years old.
Okay, so I don't think it would have been an age issue. Maybe. Okay, fine.
Well, it's because Lemonese was at Olympiakos and he was getting a plane from AEK. He didn't want an AEK player. That's what it was.
No, I don't know if it was really Lemonese. This I open to you, and I don't want to say that it was the Lemonese. I think it didn't happen. They didn't. In the end, APOEL was more hot and biggest effort, to me to come, and I decided to come to APOEL. But it was a point that we was speaking about this possibility also for Omonoia.
So how would the negotiation would have gone with APOEL anyway? Would they have contacted your agent, you'd have come to Cyprus and then had the conversation? Or
yes, it was before end of the season. My agent was, I have at that time also offers from teams from Turkey that give me much more money. I have offer from Munich 1860. I don't know, I always forget the team from
1860 München. Yep.
And also it was PAOK Thessaloniki. AEK make me the offer to renew, but there was in very difficult situation, economical situation. They reduced me a lot my contract, and to go to PAOK at that time, from AEK would be, nice. I was not looking, for that. And then it was when came, my agent was talk with teams, with the people, to hear once that I was in end of contract. And before end of the season, in one day off, I take the flight. We went together to Cyprus and we signed the contract. And you come back. I come back to finish the season, and it was like that.
Okay, Chris, do you want to go on? I've done 32 minutes.
It's all right. Well, Gustavo, first of all, thank you for coming on the show. Obviously, you won 4 league titles with APOEL, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
First season you were there, you won the league title. How was your first season at APOEL? So obviously it's a new country, new team, new coach, different players. How did you adapt into that team, and how did you find it for your first year?
I'll tell you very true, and what I feel from the bottom of my heart, what I want to say to you at this moment. I feel from the first moment, from the first minute I stepped there inside APOEL, I feel home from the beginning. From the people, that the way they received me there, and also from the fans, from the city. Because I came from Greece, I think it was easier. Because country, language, food, in Cyprus is a small Greece. I feel like part of Greece, the way that we live, the culture, the way, the food, the language, so makes me feel very comfortable there. I was a little bit concerning. My wife was very concerned to go there because, at that time, people didn't know too much about Cyprus football also. Was once Nortos in Champions League, and then 1 year before 2010 it was APOEL, but it was not sure about, and I come from big level there. I was in BENFICA before, I was in AEK, it was big club also, we make good things. And it was another good offers that I have also in good teams. And we was like, wow, but we go there now. Like it was feeling that maybe the people could thinking that going to Cyprus, going to APOEL, it was like, okay, he was
a downgrade. like a downgrade in a way.
And not only that, 30 years old, he go there to take some more money to have good life. It was never my feeling.
This is the Stel, do you say it, the concept? Like once certain players get at age, the thing that they say, they're just going to Cyprus for holiday, or to just be a tourist, or just...
Well, that's what we hear from supporters. But we've spoken to many players who came to Cyprus in their 30s. Even Matt Derbyshire, who was on the other week, he said, "Look, Cyprus is a very difficult league. They think you're going to Cyprus to retire and make it's not easy." He said it's not easy.
I think that's why many of them they don't succeed, because they go there with the wrong mentality and the wrong thinking about the league and the championship. And the general actually surprised me a lot. But my focus and my way when I go there, what happened, I went there to achieve something else, to continue to make something else in my career. This was my target, not just go there for APOEL to play a few more years, and because it's a small country, you don't have a lot of trips. It's near, it's more calm the life, it's good for the kids, all that. No, I went there very focused to give, not to receive, to give more than what I receive. It was always my way of approaching the situation. So I really feel from the first moment that I come, and also I met a fantastic group. Not only the Brazilians, the Portuguese, the Cypriots, the Greeks, everyone. We have like one target. Our dressing room was special that year, and it was our biggest secret of success of that team, I think. Our group, because we was very connected to each other. We fight for the single training. We used to fight. I can say to you, no one likes to lose even a small game in the trainings. We fight all the time with Contis, with Chiotis, with Sachas, with Moraes, Ailton. We played that small games, and it was like a war, But after we go to the dressing room, and it was like very familiar, We have very good relationship between us. So it was. I feel very, very comfortable in home. I feel home from the first moment I go there.
Gustavo, the competitiveness you just mentioned, does that come not only from the players, but also from Jovanovic? Was that something that he wanted you guys to be physical, to be warriors?
Yeah, Ivan, he was a man. He's a man of few words. Just the way he looked to you, you understand already if he likes or don't like. He doesn't. And he have one characteristic that is amazing. He's very fair. And he tried to be very fair with everyone. So this is he get the respect from the players from like that, And because also he was older, but the way he approached his leadership, we feel him like a father, and we look for him like a father all the time. As a coach, we respect, of course, different. Everyone have different relationship. The ones that play more and the ones that don't play, and we are all different in the way of this. But I can say that I believe the majority they look him like that, like a father.
Okay,
Chris.
Gustavo, obviously there was a period of time that, Omonoia wasn't doing too well, and obviously, and I'm going to say this as an Omonoia fan, APOEL was dominating Cypriot football. Okay, and I'm a person that goes a lot from mentality, the mindset, the motivation. When I was seeing APOEL, it looked like, and you said it yourself, the unit, the team, the fighting. The feeling that I got is, as a team, as players, is like you knew before the match started that no one could beat you. Like you had so much confidence in yourself, not only you, but as a team, that you would go in there and you knew that the end result you would win. And most of the times that happened.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it was. I think it was football. There is many details that together make one team very strong. That team, that years, the first 2-3 years, you know, that we was there, it was very good team. First of all, actually, quality-wise, every position we have very good players. Second, the coach was very good coach, leadership, the committee, the president, the directors, we was very connected, very close to us. They respect us very much. They was all the time what they promised they used to do, you know, and we felt our responsibility to give back to the club what they give for us, the respect and the way they approach us as professional, you know, obligate, let's say, us to be 1,000,000% professional also, you know, to give back this to the team. So these all together make that APOEL so strong, you know. And of course, after you go to Champions League and you make in 2012 that year, amazing, that bring to the team 22, 23, 25 million euros to a league like Cyprus, you know, and every year after you start to bring players with more options, make you much stronger. It's complicated for the others, you know, after. But in the way I was there, in the way on the time I was there, I can say to you, yes, when you go to play against Omonoia, we was like, we were gonna win 1,000,000%.
And this was exactly what I was going to say. And again, it hurts me to say it, but in a way, I knew that when we would play against you, that you were going to win, because in a way, I felt like they didn't have the belief that they knew that they're going against APOEL. They will figure out a way, not only because your team was good, but
actually Omonoia always have extra power for the fans, you know. So always when we play Omonoia APOEL, and in their home, it was always very complicated because the fans, they push, and the players also, even if the team was not so good as our team, you know, make with this passion, this motivation that comes from the fans, the atmosphere in the stadium, make all the time the games much more difficult, of course. But at the end, you know, the quality and you know,
it showed in the end result.
We have a lot of experienced players also at that time. And people say that they invest today. Football is a business, and it's normal to invest in young players, you know. But that team that went to quarterfinal to Champions League, I think we was in that Champions League. We was the second oldest team in the Champions League history. I think we lost for Milan when they was also, I don't know, something like that.
The average age, I think, yeah.
I think we have in field 2-3 players under 28 years old that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was an interesting time for you guys, and obviously a lot of us believe that perhaps you guys had a few favorable decisions go your way throughout the course of that successful period, Gustavo. And there's one moment which I know a lot of Omonoia fans are going to ask me afterwards, why didn't you ask him? And I'm going to just ask you because I feel comfortable, and I think you feel comfortable answering these questions, because I'm not going to ask it in a very uncomfortable way. But that ball crossing the line moment, do you want to discuss that? Or shall we just put that to one side for now?
What do you mean? The ball that crossed the line and we scored the goal?
Yeah. I know people are going to want to know the answer to it. So,
still, I'm in the field. We cannot realize what happened. It's so fast, the moment, that we cannot just stop and say, oh, the ball is out. Come on. Or the ball is in. Or no. It's a moment. You know, today with the VAR, it becomes much more easier, you know, to correct these situations. But I tell you something, even with the image, it's not easy to see that the ball is out. I tell you why. Because if you put one line, okay, you put the line, and you put one ball here. If I put like that, you say that if you see from the top, you see that's in the line. But if depending on the angle you see, if you take a picture, you look like the ball it's out. Depends the angle you take the picture, and you see the image also. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that ball it was 100% of full ball out of the line. You know, they took one picture. It's true that and they say, you believe in God, how you say, I make my job. What can I say to you, And after they take that picture and they say, but I just play for my team. And
at the end of the day, you were doing your job. You got the ball over. You scored the goal. Even if you went home and even if you saw the highlight and even if the ball, I'm just saying for you, even if you were to admit and you say, okay, maybe the ball did pass on. At the end of the day, you did your job as a professional and a football player.
You can say sorry for that. But,
but see, this is the thing, right? When you're a football fan, it's very easy to get angry about something like that, especially when it's a rival player. When that happens. But it goes back to what you said, Gustavo, earlier about in the training sessions, how everyone was fighting each other for, when you cross that white line to go on the pitch, it's a different story. It's like a switch. You go from a gentleman to an animal.
That team from Omonoia, I have many good friends that play against us, like Leandro until today. And after too many that used to come to our home, we used to eat together, in their house, our homes, all together. Once you go to the field, it's your job, and it's your, and you just do your best for your team, and that's it, But one thing I can tell you from you, I'm very honored. I feel very proud. I feel very proud because all this time I was in Cyprus, I feel very respected for Omonoia fans, for Anorthos fans, for AL fans, and I always try to respect them the maximum I can with my interviews, the way I speak. For example, I remember Marcinho once he makes the goal against Omonoia, and he make like that. I kick him after in the dressing room. I kick him.
Really?
I punched him. I told him, you are behaving like a kid. You have to respect these people also. They are. If you was an opposite, what you want to show with like that, with this kind of behave, you win nothing on this, because they are there supporting their teams they love, and the players. Like our fans are doing the same for us. So at least we need to respect this. And always I try to respect the maximum as I can, especially Omonoia for the rivalry that we have, that both teams have.
Yep.
And really, I never have problem with no one in the street from Omonoia. Opposite, always feel very that they respect me, and this was the most important for me, even to be a good player and make history in the country as a football player. So.
That's good to hear. Well, look, I've got a couple more questions, and they're nothing too strenuous like the last one. So I want to talk about that European adventure with you guys, because I remember the penalty shootout against Lyon, and living in the UK, there's a lot of Cypriots out here, and even Anorthosi fans were saying, "Oh, it's great for Cyprus." I weren't happy about it, obviously, because of the club. But I've got a different mentality. I'm not one of these do it for the island. No, it's Omonoia or no one else, and that's just me. But it was great for Cyprus. It was a great achievement for the club. Obviously, we're still reminded about it. But going into these games, against your Lyons, against your Portos, against Ajax, all these other teams that you played even before and after the adventure, you guys went in with like the underdog mentality. It was like, you didn't obviously show any fear, so you went for it because you thought probably we got nothing to lose here.
It wasn't.
No?
Come on, we have our pride, man.
But this is what I'm saying. It's like nothing to lose. So you just go for it.
As we say, come on, we go to play against Barcelona in Camp Nou. If you lose 3, 4, 5, what's the difference? We will be one more that we beat like that. We go there. We will go to make our history and to play for our pride, also for our, to show that we are. That's why I said that that team was very special on that. We have a group of players that were very, egoists in their feelings and the targets, and the coach also, Ivan. We remember when we lost in that qualification Champions League 2012 against Wisła Cracovia. We went to play the first game away there, Cracovia, and we lost 1-0. We did normally game, nothing special. We lost just 1-0. It was clear open the game, for second round. So Ivan, he come to the dressing room, he shout us like a dog, He shouted as a dog. He said, "You don't have ego. You are shit. You are this. You are that. You don't have balls." He was very disappointed with that because it was not that what happened, And we was just expecting the next game to come to show to him that we have balls, And the first thing we did when we come to dressing room, he come to hug us. We say to him, "You take it here now. You take it. Very heavy." Our balls.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, fantastic.
He did what he was supposed to do. He got a reaction out of you.
Yes, he knew it that we was like that. We was pride team, pride guys, And this is a secret in the sport also, When you approach the game like that, you have more possibilities to win. When you got the game with the feelings that maybe like this, like that, you are already loser, No chance.
Agreed.
Brilliant. Well, there's two.
I had just one.
Go on.
It was one player that came to us in the middle of that season. That was Souza. I don't know if you remember the midfielder. He was in Olympiakos.
Yeah.
He would play for Olympiakos in the Olympiakos Nicosia, a small club. And he came to watch all our games in Champions League in the group stage, in our stadium. And then suddenly January they bring him, to play with us. And in our first game after that was the 8th final against Lyon there in Lyon. And he was really good player, man. That guy, he could play. He could make much better career. He came to our group and he increased our quality. He was our level, in quality, and very good guy. But we go to play against Lyon, and in the tunnel, Ivan was just behind him. Was just behind. And I was coming back from Inter. I was there also behind. And he was looking for the players, for that guy, for Lisandro Lopes, Loris, all that guy. He was looking like from the shoes to the head, like that to the guys. And he wanted me to try and say, "What are you looking?" Repeat me.
Brilliant. That is brilliant. Unbelievable. Well, after
the game, you can ask the shirt, but now we're gonna play to win this game.
Amazing, absolutely brilliant. Well, Gustavo, I've got two more questions, and again, thank you for your time. We've done 52 minutes, so I know you're a busy guy. You've got so much on your plate at the moment, so I don't want to take up too much more of it. But two more questions. These are from the ΚΟΥΒΕΝΤΑ ΓΙΝΕΤΑΙ podcast, an APOEL podcast. I'm saying an APOEL podcast, and they say the first question is what would you like APOEL fans to think when they say the name Manduca? What would you like them to think when they say the name Manduca, when they hear the name Manduca?
Is what I feel. I think respect. Respect. Just this, for all what we did there, not only Manduca, but all the players that did what we did there, because as I said before, I don't put my name a part of the others players that was in this group, Moraes, Almeida, Conte, Chiotis, Marcinho, Boaventura, all these players that was there with us that time. And we did something. I think we bring the level of Cyprus football to different level. That team brings the name of Cyprus and APOEL for the Europe and for the world. So wherever you go, people remember that, and APOEL become for what we achieved there as a team, as the players, the coach, and also that board of directors, people, that was involved. So what we just need, and we feel this. I cannot say from the always I go Cyprus with my social media everywhere. I feel the respect that they respect me. So this for me is enough, just the respect.
Brilliant. And the second question was in the year. Well, the season 2011-2012, there was some problems with the team. You were seen as the leader of the Portuguese-Brazilian contingent. Can you describe that season as a whole? And did your leadership skills set you up to be? I believe are you a pastor now? Is that correct?
No, I used to be.
You used to be. So,
I used to be like I love God, and I used to. With my examples and my life, I try to help people. Everywhere I go, we always have meeting with people to speak about God things also, and to try to encourage and give extra motivation also, and spiritual life for people. So like that. But continue. Yes, your
So would you say that your religious beliefs and everything that you're immersing yourself with God and religion, did that help you become some sort of leader within the team when they're going through a difficult point that season?
Yes, of course, that season and some others that came. And yes, I felt that people follow me, whatever I say, and always I have an event. Doesn't mean one captain, because it was captains, players more time than me in the team, and one of the rules to be the captains, the 3 or the 5 that used to have the oldest ones. But always I have a voice, a leadership voice, leader voice in the dressing room, and I felt all the time the respect from them. And because we try to be very fair, very correct, with our things. With the young ones that came, we just try to give the example and to do, the things in the correct way. And for the older ones, it was, I was a family man, family guy. I have my quiet life. I try to make the things properly, to live most correct possible. So they felt also, it was a point that when there was the youngest and they was in the dressing room, laughing, speaking about some parties and girls and like that, when I come into the dressing room, they stop to speak. And I felt it many times that
That's
they
respect.
they stopped to, I feel that the climate, it was like, and I realized that they are doing something not good here. They speak something not good. Or speaking bad about somebody else, even if speaking bad about the coach, about the coach or about something that is happening the moment when you lose, speak about bad about some other player, that happens a lot, It's normally when you lose, you try to blame others. Or when something goes wrong, you try always to blame others. I never accepted that, I always, when I see something like that, I say, look to yourself first. What you did? You did fantastic? No, I didn't make fantastic goals. So we lost all together. I all make mistakes. So stop to speak and work, make your job. We try.
That thing you mentioned about, the players talking and then you walk in the room and going silent, it kind of reminds you of when you're in the kitchen cooking and the kids are in the room being loud, and then it goes quiet and you're thinking they're doing something they shouldn't. Well, Gustavo,
different age, so different experience also.
Absolutely. Well, Gustavo, look, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we can have you back on again. And next time I'm going to ask Killian to come on, because he says to me, Gustavo says a lot of clever things. So Killian was right again. Killian's a good friend of ours as well. So thank you again for joining us, and we appreciate you being brave enough to be on Omonoia podcast. But
we do.
I hope that our questions were okay. I hope they were okay.
You can ask me whenever. If I don't have problem to say what I feel and what I believe, And and I appreciate also, of course, I have the history I have with APOEL, and I think nothing will destroy this history. But it's very true also that I respect too much this team, this Omonoia. I'm happy in parts when they come back from that bad moment, because football is this. I think is more nice like that. When big teams, big fans, they are in good moments, the big games. This makes the league, the football more appreciated. So I appreciate that when the good teams are in the top also. And when Omonoia get the league after so many years, they did a very good job. They invest good with good coach. They work properly for a few years, and after they achieve what they deserve also. So when somebody make the things correct, we also appreciate when they win. So at least me is my way of thinking. So
brilliant. There you go. That's a perfect way to end the show. That's a perfect way to end the show. See, Gustavo does the outro for us. We don't need to do anything else.
True.
Well, that's
Alright.
it for another edition of No Choftes, guys. Sorry?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was very.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you for
for joining, Gustavo.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Love
Thank
you.
you, Gustavo.
Obrigado.
Take care.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. Another episode of No Choftes in the bag. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your nunna. Visit betonalfa.com.cy. Follow Omonoia Football Town. Hey, look at this one. You did a very good thing by having Gustavo in the podcast. It makes the fans to think more clearer and not fanatic.
Couldn't agree more.
This is the thing. Like, I understand that football is tribal, okay? And in Cyprus, perhaps it's more tribal than most places in Europe. So whenever we have APOEL-related fans or players, we're going to be prepared for the barrage of abuse we're going to get. We're not true Omonoia fans. We're not this, we're not that. But the thing is, I'm going to repeat what I've said to Chris and Roy and other people in the background. But, you know, and while I'm doing this live, I'm just going to do it, right? We believe that by doing this show, we add an extra dimension to media and podcasts in Cyprus. I've got no problem with people who want to have their own podcast for their own club. It's fine. That is your prerogative. It's your choice. You want to do that. But we do things different. We've had Killian Sheridan on, who played for APOEL, mind. We had Andrea Orlandi on, that played for APOEL and Anorthosi. We've had people from various clubs around the world. So we do things different. Now, this isn't me saying we're doing things to shock and awe and to surprise people and clicks, because we don't put the monetization on our videos anymore now that we've got our sponsor. So for people saying, that clicks, whatever. The fact is, we're doing things different. And again, cast your mind back to the podcast, Chris, that we did after the Apollon Cup game, the Super Cup. I think when I did that pre-record, and I said, expect things to change on this pod. And if you think the club can come in your face, imagine what we can do with our guests. Yeah? We're going to bring on guests that's going to surprise people. Yeah? And I hope this has been a good surprise, because Gustavo is a gentleman. And he was honest, he was fair. And I think we were fair as well with our questions. So there you go. Anyway, do you want to wrap it up, Chris?
Well, guys, it was an out of the blue podcast. Guest also. As Stel said, he played for our rival team, but at the end of the day, he was a professional. He was doing his job. And as you saw by this interview, he was a gentleman. He was very upfront. He was very honest. And I think that's one of the reasons why even we as rival fans never had anything bad to say about that player, because we knew who he was as a player. All right. That's all I got to say. For another one time, we thank you for the support. Thank you for watching. Until the next show, which is coming in a few days. A couple more days.
Man United preview, then Man United review. It's all coming it's like a wrecking ball, like Miley Cyrus. Minus the cocaine, because that's wrong.
Let's just end it. Fuck Androbi,
let's go.